Our group has decided to focus on the issue or opportunity of reducing the use of single-use plastics within the UBCO campus. As we all know, the production and disposal of plastic products releases toxic chemicals into our air, water, and soil, which negatively impacts the overall quality of life here on Earth. The issue of plastic pollution has become an epidemic within the last decade as population starts to grow. The polluted air, when inhaled by animals and humans, affects the overall health and can cause many respiratory issues. The release of plastic into our world's oceans injures and kills fish, seabirds, and marine animals, and a simple walk on the beach anywhere in the world proves that plastic pollution is very much present. To limit the effects of plastic on the environment, eco-friendly alternatives have become more widely available to the general public. So our group has decided that promoting effective alternatives to plastic and creating awareness of the plastic industry to the students and staffs of the UBCO campus is the first step in reducing the carbon footprint that we as a society have created. If we do not act on the plastic pollution soon, it would mean serious consequences for our future.
So as a group, we were able to identify 5 key stakeholders. So the first one being group members, then we have UBCO students, UBCO itself, plastic suppliers, and other plastic-free organizations. So to start, us group members are concerned with cost to sponsor research and advertising. So we will be seeking donations from either UBCO or UBCO students as well, so basically anyone that takes interest in our project. And it is important for us to gather factual information that we can share with UBCO and UBCO students so that they do feel like they can make a difference and that it is important that they make a difference. So secondly, UBCO students, they're kind of our main focus, so they're the ones that can ultimately make the biggest difference. So if UBCO students are cutting back on plastic waste, that will be an incentive for UBCO to cut back on their plastic waste as well. So UBCO students need to be informed on how detrimental the plastic industry is and ways that they can cut back and use more efficient alternatives. So we will be using infographics such as this one here. To promote that. So you can see here, it just shows plastic, instead of using a plastic water bottle, use a reusable beverage container. Instead of to-go coffee lids or coffee mugs, use your own travel mug. So just stuff like that. So next we have UBCO. So like I said, if students are cutting back on their plastic waste, then UBCO has the incentive to cut back on theirs as well. And this may encourage UBCO to come up with better alternatives to packaged food. So as of right now, they are packaging like sandwiches and fruit cups in plastic containers. Now that's not really necessary. So something that's eco-friendly or compostable would be a better alternative to that. Or if students could bring their own containers, that would be good as well. So with the reduced use of plastic, less waste management will be used or needed, and less recycling will be needed as well. So if we look at this graph here, it shows that the packaging sector alone for the plastic industry accounted for 146 million tons of plastic. So that's a lot of plastic just coming from packaging. So if UBCO can find more efficient alternatives to this, they will help to decrease this number and maybe also help encourage other universities and organizations and companies to do the same. So then next we have suppliers in the plastic industry. So we are planning to drive UBCO and UBCO students out of the plastic industry and this is ultimately going to negatively affect their profits. So having less customers will encourage them to develop their own eco-friendly alternatives. And then next we have other plastic-free organizations. So this includes Oceana, For Ocean, Bye Bye Plastic Bags, the Natural Resources Protection Council, and there's many others out there because this is a very pressing issue right now. So basically what we have in common with these organizations is that we're trying to create public awareness on how you can do better and why it is so important that we cut back. So these organizations are involved with ridding plastic waste in oceans, conducting science-based campaigns, and ultimately educating the public on the plastic industry, so statistics on what's going to happen in the future, what's happening now. And Canada has already announced that we'll be banning single-use plastics by as early as 2021, which is really good. And these organizations need projects like ours to help further increase the public's understanding, increase awareness, so that ultimately we can reduce our waste, because plastic isn't biodegradable and all the plastic that has been produced is still somewhere out there.
The use of infographics was the first alternative to be analyzed. As humans are naturally very visual species, using visual methods as a form of communication is very effective in informing and inducing action and even providing a new viewpoint. These graphics can be tailored to appeal to university life and promote more ecologically friendly ways that can be implemented into university. The second alternative to be evaluated is hosting educational events. Even though this alternative is much more time, resource, and research intensive, hopefully putting more effort into creating an event will expand the audience's understanding of single-use plastics and their detrimental effects on Earth, and see how more eco-friendly alternatives can greatly impact the world's health. Such activities such as asking questions, games, and demonstrations can appeal to the targeted audience.
My part in the presentation was the analysis of the proposed alternatives, and I'm also putting this video together. Our focus, we decided to, at the beginning of the class, was to direct all of our attention to spreading awareness and educating people or the student body on the harmfulness of single-use plastics through the infographics, social media, and hosting educational events. We believe that spreading the word around campus will intrigue people to participate. Simple yet colorful messages with big lettering are proven to stick in people's minds. I was reading about this online, and about like sales tactics. Like, personally work at Canadian Tire for 5 years. Those little yellow and red sale tags are changed every week. Really draw customers' attention to the deal and most likely purchase a product due to the insane discount. But this could also be applied to the SDG project, because these simple yet effective infographics that Sammy showed earlier in the presentation introduced the same kind of idea. It drags you in, like, hold on, wait a second, how much actually single plastic is being used in the ocean? Like, these big facts just really draw you in, makes you stop and ponder the idea, and hopefully set you in the right direction and step up to the plate to make a difference and to reduce this. Because also what Jaime said, I actually want to take a walk on the beach and not have to see a whale with garbage in its mouth. The placement of the infographics is also important. So going back to Canadian Tire, all the main sale items are placed in the center aisle or near the front doors for most visibility. So putting the puzzle together, the infographics should be placed in high volume areas, like at the front of lecture halls or near the doors, where you have to push open so you can see it. We considered also hosting an educational event on the astonishing statistics of plastic pollution and ways we can make a difference. So, like 5 minutes before a lecture, and when everyone's like still paying attention, not falling asleep, and not in the dead fish zone, would be a great time to drop some plastic reduction information. In addition, I believe it's important to keep the message light and easy, so people still sticks in their head. We don't overload them with information, and possibly end with a joke in the end to maintain like a happy atmosphere and keep people just intrigued into it. Also, I want to talk about the stakeholder analysis. Lastly, social media is a very powerful tool to seek out young adults to make a difference. This method is very easy to use and set up, and everybody knows has Instagram and TikTok. So we believe that spreading the word online will intrigue people to participate. Considering the current circumstances we're in, where everyone's isolated and self-quarantined, this would be a really great viable option for us at the moment, because people can't leave their house, but everyone's on their phone, so they would see our informational posts. Like we could put the infographic actually just on Instagram, like another alternative within the alternative. At the moment, this would be the only alternative currently possible for our team to currently complete.
Due to the risk of no one paying attention to the infographics, which would totally defeat the purpose of this alternative, the best alternative would be hosting an educational event, as putting more effort to actively engage the audience would have a higher chance of making an impact on the world's health in a positive light. I would say the biggest thing that I learned for me personally is to work through and identify my confidence issues. And with identifying them, that's the first step to improvement, which means I will be more prepared for next year.
So through working as a group this semester, I have learned how to effectively work and communicate as a team, which I believe will help me for future situations such as jobs or other classes. I also learned that an effective group should have minimal conflict, but some conflict is okay. Effective communication both virtually and in person, so I think that the whole coronavirus has helped our group communicate better virtually. And the importance of feedback and good communication skills overall. So overall, our group has had some strengths and some weaknesses. So we identified the strengths as being we're a well-functioning group, good communication skills virtually and in person, effective in equally distributing work for projects, so everyone had an equal workload. There was no one that had more than the other person. Weaknesses, operating in separate departments in simulation instead of one functioning team, so we should have made more decisions together rather than individually for the simulation. We think that would have worked better for us. And providing feedback to each other with SDGs. So that's a crucial part in having effective and good quality assignments, and that's definitely something that we should have worked on.
Working in a team throughout the entire semester taught me lots of life lessons that I wouldn't have learned otherwise working individually in a classroom setting. These lessons included how to communicate effectively both in person and virtually, the importance of punctuality, being on time, getting my work done on time, and team commitment, and how to give and take constructive criticism to strengthen my work. While our group worked very well as a whole, I believe that we could have done a better job by meeting more regularly and checking up on each team member to make sure that they're getting their work done and that they have no trouble and aren't confused with any aspect of the task that we're working on. But overall, I'm extremely thankful to have put in the group that I was, because I know that some of my friends weren't as lucky, and I just feel that we worked extremely well as a group, and I'm very grateful.
Hey, I generally really enjoyed managing 110 this semester. So far, none of my classes have been this team-oriented, which make things really interesting and a lot of fun, and allows for more opportunities and challenges working with others. I mean, to not only deal with myself, but work with a group of people. I believe we had a really strong team that took great pride in our work and made sure everything was submitted and always on time, and gave a lot of each other feedback along the way. The management tutorials were a great place for our group to reconnect and check in with each other and make sure everything's going smoothly. As well as, I believe, it's perfectly fine. Sammy took the leadership role in the group, which was good for her. She made sure all the assignments were in tip-top shape before submission. I really appreciated that. And another thing, Meagan was the one who did the golf tutorial, or yearly basis before it was actually required to do. So she had all these tips and knew, like, oh, do this, and like, we'll get this, and it's like perfect. Although the one thing with that, I do agree with Sam, we should have before like the Monday lecture gone through, like, okay, I did this for the course, so maybe we should do this. Like, we all just made our own decisions, sort of thing, and did all right, but I feel we could have did better on the golf simulator. And then Jaime and myself were the ones who filled in the gaps and made sure the group was supported and did everything in between. And honestly, really enjoyed this class, and I would definitely work with these people and friends again if the time arose. Thank you.